Rupa Goswami or Bhaji Goswami, he said that the qualification for worshipping Krishna at home, also in the temple, the main qualification is faith, because we are the eternal servants of Krishna. Nitya Krishna Das. So it's our very birthright to worship Krishna. So if we have that faith is there in the beginning, and faith is the beginning, and also it's the awakening of our love for Krishna as we begin worshipping the deity. Then the purification takes place, and then that feeling for actual affectionate feeling will become manifested. Address the deities at home. It's up to the worshipper, whatever standard they have set at home. So if you don't have a standard, then you can look in the Pancattava Pratikra at the things that can be done in your deity worship, and things you see you can do, or you can implement, or you can improve on. You can have your own little standard that suits your time, circumstance, place, financial means, and something you could worship for the rest of your life. You worship the deity for your whole life. And you can follow the instructions that are given in the Archana Padhatis, and you may not follow all of the different instructions, but you can follow the ones you can do. So anyway, you can keep the order there. Try to keep the order that they're presented. Like asanam, swagatam, padyam, there is an order there. So you can choose your own standard, but really you can more or less keep the same order of how everything is presented in a more fuller. Yeah, so that you can make your standard. So a lot of things you're doing anyway. You do archana, you do you obey the deities, you dress the deities. So you can make a schedule that suits you well, and this can be like a daily process. And you try to maintain that. If you don't maintain it, it's not a problem in the house. It's not seva aparad. In the temple, it'll be seva aparad. So you can sometimes increase on like festival times and everything, but it doesn't mean you have to stay there all the time. You just for the festival, and then you come back to your regular standard. So that's good for your sadhana also. You can maintain a sadhana. It's not required you follow everything so strictly. All the ingredients of worship. But but it's good for you also. The sadhana is very good for you. Hare Krishna. Mood. Mood means Ragamarg, Raganuga Bhakti. That is what we are doing is Piti Marg. So this means all the rules and regulations. This is the Vidhi Marg. Feeling is superior. But if you don't have feeling, then the second best. That is the principles of sadhana, Peti Sadhana Bhakti. putting all the rules into practice. And that becomes very powerful and purifying. Obviously, you see, if you've got Jagannath and you've got Gaura, Radha and Krishna, there can be some difference in approach. But the main attitude, the service attitude is that we are servants, or servant of the servant. So when we enter into the deity room, and we can pay our obeisances inside or outside, depending on your space and facility. But we enter into the deity room, and as we pay obeisances to our spiritual master, and you take his permission to enter into the deity room to assist him in serving the deity. So we're not going in the deity room to serve Krishna directly, but we're going in to assisting the spiritual master in the service to the deity. So this is the attitude in it. That becomes dasa, anudasa. We become servant of the servant. And also you will get vatsalarasa, parental relationship, that will also come dramatically, no matter what forms you're worshipping, Jagannath, Radha, Krishna, Gaura, because they're like dependent on you, they're like babies. You have to wake them up, you have to feed them, you have to bathe them, all these things, just like you do for a baby, like a child. So that will naturally come. Yeah. So the main one is just we're a servant of the servant, and Vatsala will come sometime. Treat them like baby. Well, that's why we worship. We are assisting the Guru in worship with this attitude that we are assisting the Guru. So that attitude is there that will stop us from becoming over familiar. You can do some kind of meditation or some kind of prayers before puja to establish a proper an attitude. So, how to develop the attachment. And the same thing, we're used to dressing very nicely, and so we get an attachment to see ourselves in the mirror. So, Bhagavatam's attachment is there. And that attachment in the material world cause of bondage in the material world. Attachment to friends from society, but when we become attached to the deity's paraphernalia, that attachment becomes a source of liberation. So there's a tendency to consider oneself master, as you read. So yeah, there was a tendency to consider oneself master. I mean, that's been everyone, not only pujaris, that's the whole world. The whole world functioning on this principle that I am the master, I am the enjoyer. So how to see the deity as master and oneself as a servant. Muktaram Jagatapasham Sarvaloka, this is the master. Shruridam Sarvabhutam, but Krishna is the greatest friend. Krishna is the greatest friend. So, all these qualities and everything, they will manifest according to your own purity. This is the whole idea of the Vedic sadhana bhakti. You stick to it, you stick to it, you stick to it. And you become purified. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mentioned also that these 5 things are very conducive to awakening one's love for Godhead, one's deity worship, living in the Dharma, Bhagavatam. There's 5 principles that are very conducive for awakening one's love for Godhead. So this whole idea of sadhana every day, same thing, same thing. You become fixed in sadhana. It's like when you're fixed in sadhana means the whole day you know what you're going to do this time, next time, next time. So then it becomes fixed, and that helps you control the mind and senses. Because when you're doing your services, and then something comes into the mind, usually desires start coming in the mind and then become manifest. So when the desires appear, because you're fixed in service, and you say, "What's happening?" You know, I'm not supposed to be thinking of something at this time. I'm doing my service now. This is what I'm doing. I'm not supposed to be. This is not supposed to be coming in my mind. This thought. So it helps you to see clearly when you're fixed in sadhana. Then you can pick out that weed. It's the desire seeds coming up in the form of it. You can learn to pick them out by sadhana. You're doing the same thing every day. Then if you're not regulated, you don't see how things creep in the mind and you forget everything. And you just wander off here and there. So this is a good thing about Vedic sadhana bhakti, that it very quickly awakens love for Krishna, which is already there. Just has to be awakened. So this deity worship ashram is a very wonderful way of awakening our devotion to Krishna, our emotions for Krishna. Yeah. And when they're awakened, then you serve with love, you serve with affection. Everything is done with loving affection. No need to necessity for follow all the rules and regulations as in sadhana, because you understood the purpose of sadhana is to awaken your attraction and affection for Krishna. So the process works, otherwise why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would come and give us the program, and why Rupa Goswami would come as a manjari in the spiritual world, why he come to the material world. Because it works, the system works, and they showed by their example. They're worshipping deities even though they're on a superior platform. They're showing that it works if you follow nicely. And the speed in which you attain the goal of sadhana or purity depends upon the sincerity of the practitioner. That when you achieve that state depends how quickly you'll achieve that. It depends on your sincerity and purpose. That will determine the speed in which you realize the goal of Arjuna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Hare Rama.